Oh, yes.
And we are rolling.
Hey everybody, this is that drummer guy Josh Runquist, and I'm here with Dirk Verbeuren, who's pulling double duty tonight with Soilwork and Jeff Loomis here at Station 4 in St. Paul, Minnesota. How's it going tonight?
Actually, not tonight.
Oh, you're not?
No, it's only at the end of the tour that I'm doing that because, yeah, Jeff has his own band, and you know, but his drummer Anoop, who's awesome by the way, has another band that he's booked a tour with previous to this tour being booked. So he has to hop off this tour a little early. It's like the last 10 or 11 days that I'll play with Jeff. Yeah. So, but anyway.
I feel kind of bad about that. It said in the press release that you were going to be starting tonight doing the...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all good.
I apologize for that. But
it's all good.
how's the tour been so far?
It's been really good. We've had nothing but good shows, really, and you know, the response to the new record is probably part of why it's been so good. And we feel that people have really, you know, enjoyed it, and we get a lot of great comments. And yeah, it's been awesome, man. Had a blast.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I will say, without a doubt, Living Infinite is my favorite Soilwork album to date.
Oh, cool.
Because it just captures everything that I'm looking for in Soilwork into a nice double disc album.
Nice. That's good to hear, man. I mean, yeah, we felt a good wave of inspiration when we were about to create that record. I think everything kind of came together for us, and you know, we put a lot of hard work into it too to make it as good as we possibly could. And yeah, man, turned out awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, and even when I'm at home trying to play along with your songs, I realize it's you and I can't do it. So, okay, let's see if I can pull up these blasts. Nope. But I mean, some of the easier songs I can play along to, and it's just you got such a nice groove to this new album and everything. It's just it feels so appropriate.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the grooves is really what matters, you know. To me, that's the key thing, no matter what you're playing and no matter what style or how fast or slow the music is or anything, you know. It's the most important thing is to give it a good swing somehow, you know. And even in the faster stuff, that's possible to do, and that's always what I aim for, you know. I try to kind of switch off the brain and just go with the music and kind of let the music do the, you know, do the talking for me, you know. Just follow that. So
very cool.
That's how I approach it, man. Yeah.
It's the best way to do it too. It has the most natural progression of the songs and everything like that.
Right. Yeah. You know, people will catch on to that. You know, and things are kind of flowing. You know, that's the most important. It's hard to describe with words. Really, you kind of have to feel it. But you know, it's something that you kind of, you know, it grows over the years. I think when you start out, you tend to overthink things a lot. I used to, at least. And so, you know, I learned that the less you think about it, the easier it flows and the more natural things become.
Oh, very much so. I mean, when you are playing the style of metal that you do, it becomes so easy to just like overcomplicate yourself with things.
Yeah, totally. And you know, it's sometimes the song requires you to really kind of be the backbone more, and with other songs you have more space to let the technique and all that stuff talk. So, you know, I do a lot of improvising in the studio, and I really try to keep things as open as possible. Even on stage, more and more, I give things space to kind of have fun with them, you know. And it's, you know, it makes you grow as a musician, and it also keeps things interesting for yourself and for the people listening. You know, that it's not always like the exact same thing over and over.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. And I definitely listen for that as well. You know, of course, being a drummer, I will be paying attention to you more than anyone else tonight.
Right.
Or
awesome.
Whoever's behind the drum set. So
cool, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Cool.
Yeah. So, how represented is the new album in the set list tonight?
Well, we've learned about, what is it, 4 or 5 tracks, and you know, we kind of switch things around every night, try to keep things interesting. We're still working on some new stuff as well that we still want to learn, so whenever we have time in soundcheck, we try to you know, work on some songs that we don't know that well yet. And you know, because we're going to be probably touring for a long time for this record, so we want to, you know, it's having a set list nowadays that pleases every Soilwork fan gets really difficult. So the only way to do it is to kind of switch things around, and you know.
Oh, very much so. Otherwise, why didn't you play every single song tonight?
Yeah, you know, and especially releasing a double album, obviously we set ourselves up for being in trouble, I guess.
Oh, yes. Has there ever been talks about maybe doing the whole double album live? Or is it something that would just be like any other album where it's just a few tracks from each album?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it would be nice to do that as a special event at some point, you know, and who knows, maybe that'll happen, but yeah, for the most part, we try to have something for everybody, and, you know, we have to keep into account, you know, which songs people respond to the best live too, because some songs are great on album and are not so great live, and vice versa. So, you know, we sometimes it's surprising, songs that you don't expect to become really live favorites for people, and you know, so we kind of try to pay attention to that, and we try out different things over the years, and you know, do the best we can.
Oh, very cool. So how did this lineup come together for this tour?
Well, that's mostly something that we're not that involved with usually.
Oh, okay.
It just kind of came together, and obviously, you know, I've worked with Jeff. We've all known Jeff for a really long time. I think Soilwork and Nevermore toured together like over 10 years ago, so we've been friends with those guys forever, and you know, that's obviously like...
I'm keeping this in.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, that's a connection there. But as far as the other bands go, it kind of came together through the agents and the promoters and stuff. And but it's a great lineup so far. It's been really good on a human level and musically speaking as well. So you know, we can't complain. It's been yeah, it's awesome, man. It's fun to tour with different bands, you know, and different styles represented. It's important, I think, to, especially when you have this many bands, to have a varied bill is important, you know.
Oh, very much so.
People are crawling by.
Crawling to see the show.
Yeah.
No, that was one thing I kind of noticed about the lineup tonight. It is like a really well diverse kind of lineup tonight, because it's not just one style of music, which is something I really try to pay attention to in music. It's like if you have like 4 or 5 of the same kind of style bands, it becomes a little long after that. But if you have like a good diversity like you guys have tonight, it makes it that much more exciting for the show.
I think so, man. You know, it's I mean, 5 bands of metal is a lot of stuff to take in. So so we try to you know, keep things fresh, and having somebody like Loomis with you know, with those instrumental guitar oriented music, and then you know, Hatchet and Bounded by Blood are more thrash, and Blackguard are more like completely unique, doing their own thing, more of a symphonic kind of metal mixed with a lot of fast stuff. So it's cool, man. You know, it's different elements. We try to keep things interesting for people, and you know, hopefully it works. It's a lot of music to take in every night, but you know, people have really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's been probably our best tour so far that we've done in the U.S. for the last, you know, 5-6 years easily. So very happy.
I'm glad to hear it, and you guys definitely deserve it because of this new album.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So what are your plans after this North American tour?
First off, we're gonna head to Europe, do a bunch of summer festivals there. And then after that, if everything goes well, we'll be... Well, first of all, I know we're going to Prague Power in Atlanta in September, and then we're going to play our first ever show in Mexico also in September, so that'll be really cool. Looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah.
Then if all goes well, we'll do a Pacific tour, so we know we have the Australian dates already, and there should be some more things added in there. And then we should be going to Europe before the end of the year as well, do a normal club tour there. And that's about all I know for now. You know, if the album keeps doing as well as it does, we might be coming back, you know, depending on how well this tour does and stuff too. So if a lot of people come out, we'll get a chance to see us again.
Absolutely, and I'll be there next time, absolutely.
Awesome, man.
So if you had a say in future lineups for tours, who would you like to bring with you on tour?
Oh man, there's so many cool bands out there, you know, and we... you know, like I said, we don't always have much of say in that stuff, but of course bands approach us, and like on the next European tour in the fall, you know, I'm trying to push for some bands to be on there, so we'll see what happens. But you know, it would be great to, like, I've actually been talking a lot with Shane and Napalm Death to you know, over the years, to try and do something together. It would be really fun, because it's like, I'm a huge fan of theirs, and so are some other guys in Soilwork, and it would be very different, but it would be very fun to kind of mix that up, you know, and so it would be awesome. I would just love to tour with them and be able to watch them every night. You know?
Oh, absolutely. They put on such a great show.
Yeah, they have like amazing amounts of energy, and you know, I think like you mentioned earlier, having a diverse bill is good. So, but you know, that's just one of many bands. I mean, we would love to tour with a lot of bands out there. I can't even, you know, begin to list them off, but. You know, we're fans of metal still, and even though we listen to a lot of different kinds of music, you know, it's great to see how well this style is doing these days. You know, lots of cool bands out there, man. Yeah.
Oh, very much so.
Absolutely.
Being a fanboy like I am, one tour I would love to see is Soilwork and Devin Townsend.
Oh yeah,
that
we actually talked about that yesterday.
Really?
You know? Yeah, man. Because I mean, we're obviously good friends with him, and his shows are awesome. So that would be a great bill, man, for sure.
Oh,
Absolutely, would be fun.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah. All right, just to wrap things up here, since I know you got a busy night and everything, is there anything else that you'd like to bring up that I have not brought up yet?
Sure, yeah. You know, I've been trying to talk about this a little bit in interviews and stuff. The whole concept that's behind the Living Infinite is very ocean related, and I think we all have, you know, every band member probably has kind of a different take on that and a different relationship to that idea. But for me, it's for me, I'm trying to kind of use that as putting a spotlight on, you know, what I think is wrong with people and the planet today. You know, there's a lot of stuff happening that a lot of people aren't aware of, and you know, I don't blame anybody for it. But you know, I've been following kind of what's going on with the oceans and the way they're being treated, and there's really a lot of stuff to be said about that. You know, there's a lot of interesting documentaries out there, like Shark Water is one of them. Earthlings is another one where you can kind of see, you know, if you look into that stuff, you can see that, you know, humanity has a lot of progress to make when it comes to how we treat, you know, life on this planet and the planet in general. And I'm hoping that, you know, with the Living Infinite, with the ocean theme, I can kind of bring it to the attention of some of our fans to, you know, do some research and look into it and be aware, because it's easy to be sucked up by, you know, the things we have to do in life. I'm the first person I would blame for, you know, living in my own little world, but when you expand and look outside every now and then, you discover that there's a lot that needs to be done, you know, like, so yeah, I'm pretty, you know, I'm pretty shocked by the overfishing and just pollution that happens in the ocean, and it's something that we need to stop, you know, and we as people, we can stop that if we just don't consume from certain companies and kind of raise awareness by talking about it and supporting, you know, people like Sea Shepherd and Greenpeace and PETA and all those organizations. You know, I stand behind all that stuff and try to support them when I can. It's an important cause for me, so yeah, man, if I can talk about anything in interviews, I'd like to talk about that. So
oh, absolutely. I mean, the ocean is 70% of the entire world. I mean, we got to keep that clean so it can keep the earth going.
Exactly, and it's a very important ecosystem, a very fragile balance like most ecosystems are, and you know, I mean, people have to progress. You know, it's inevitable that there's going to be some damage done, but you know, I think a lot of companies are ignorant in how they treat that. You know, they don't really care about what happens, you know, to landscapes and you know, ecosystems, and it's some do. For example, you know, Mindel Symbols, which is my endorser for symbols, they are very aware of like what happens, and they have extremely, actually visited their company last year when I was doing drum flakes in Europe, and their company is, their factory is like completely green, everything gets recycled, they do minimum damage, you know, and you know, so that proves that, and they're super successful, like, I mean, they're like, you know, getting huge, and so that proves that you don't have to like necessarily do it the wrong way, you know. And I think it's just a matter of raising awareness among young people now, so that when they grow up, they make the right choices and they support, you know, clean living. And you know, that doesn't mean that, you know, that doesn't mean crazy stuff, you know. When you say that, people are like, oh, well, you know, like, but it's you can make very small, simple steps, you know, like, you know, turning off your lights at night, and you know, just be, like I said, being aware of what you eat and where you buy your stuff. You know, certain companies are a lot more supportive of that stuff than others, and you have the choice as a consumer to go where you want. So it's all about doing a little bit of research, spending 10-15 minutes online looking some things up, and making the right choice, you know, and hopefully push things in a good direction.
And it's very cool that you were able to do this through the Living Infinite as well, because I did kind of get that vibe. I mean, I didn't really discover like the whole meaning of the album until I started listening to it on my own, and I started getting that vibe off of it, and it's a very cool process on how you guys did that, and I mean, hopefully it does bring attention to it. Yeah, you know, I mean, the lyrics that Bjorn mostly wrote are more personal things mostly, because that's kind of his take on the whole thing, but like I said, you know, we're 6 people in the band, and we all have a different relationship, I think, to what it means, and so for me, I just tried to talk about mine, you know, and you know, it's a good thing, because as musicians, we have that platform kind of to you know, to bring different things out, and the older I get, you know, the more I want to, you know, spread a positive message, you know, and like I said, hopefully some of the people that listen to our music will pick up on that, and you know, yeah, make up their own minds about that stuff, you know. Oh, very much so. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'm glad to see it, and of course I'm going to be glad to see you guys tonight here at Station 4, full headlining set, and absolutely. It's going to be a great show. It is, man. We really worked hard on having a strong set. Like even though some things changed, we managed to bring in a lot of stuff that we haven't played for a long time or never played. So you know, I think there's good stuff in there for everybody, for fans of every Soilwork period, for sure. Oh yeah, I normally don't do this, but I wanted to look at the set list for what was going to be on the show. You know, just get an idea of what was going to be played. And between 2 or 3 shows, you played every single song I would have wanted to hear on this tour. So good. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Your chances are high. Oh, very much so. Awesome. Cool, man. All right, cool. Just to wrap things up here again, this has been Dirk Verbeuren of Soilwork, and In a Few Days with Jeff Loomis. And this is that German guy, Josh Ronquist. Thank you. Thank you.